Hello, everyone. Hello. Today was Tuesday. We're still in the PM session, still kind of unfolding, but I won't have time to record any videos this evening, so I'm gonna do it now, and I won't really be talking much about the PM session. So I wanted to talk about today because it's a pretty particular day in what trades I took, what I did, and I just kind of want to journal this day. So the daily candle I talked about yesterday, how, it was uncertain whether it would go lower or higher. Now, I saw a lot of traders this morning, especially while I was looking at ICT traders, okay, who were convinced we would go lower. And I stated yesterday how I wasn't sure we would go lower. This candle Monday had expanded so much, there was no manipulation. This isn't manipulation. And so the fact that it just went from A to B like this, like it's I don't know, I feel like it's reaching for something. And so that's why I was uncertain about lower prices. Now we could still have lower prices, but today was definitely not a bearish day, and I was ready for that. So on the hourly chart, Asia accumulated, London drew lower, and the morning ended up making a low, expanding higher the rest of the morning. Now, this here, you see that in gray, what is highlighted in gray, you can't really see it. You'll see it when you get the lower time frame. That is a dealing range, and that's what I was kind of looking at in the morning, working around. Well, I wasn't on the charts anymore, but I kind of noticed it when I got off of the charts. So one thing too is we weren't willing to trade back to this breakaway gap, this big gap here. We were not willing to try and fill this or come back to this gap. And the fact that price did that, it's telling me that okay, it is bullish. It made a new high without trading back here. I'm kind of wanting to see continued higher prices here. And I'm just watching these levels on the daily fair value gap, and I'm seeing how price is reacting to them. Um, how is price trading around them? Right now, we're consolidating around the 50 equilibrium level. That's why, like this afternoon, nothing is probably going to happen too crazy. We're almost at the last hour, and so far it's just been kind of consolidating around the 50 level. So another thing too is I did an IPTA 3-day like case study, and if I was a day trader and I had to do a day trading model, or I would say maybe swing trader, yeah, maybe it's better for swing trader, like trades inside of a week. Um, I would use the 72-hour cast ahead and look back, which is the same thing as using the IPTA 60-day cast ahead and look back. So on the higher time frame, basically you're looking ahead 3 months and 3 months back whenever you see a market shift. And then you basically, what I did is I saw that okay, Monday created a market shift here. So I go from 18 o'clock Monday, or well, actually Sunday, but that's when the daily candle opens. 72-hour, 3-day look ahead, 3-day look back, instead of doing 3 month and using a month or a weekly chart or a monthly chart to do it. So I would be wanting to see maybe price bottom, or I want to see price top out towards the end of that 3 days, and that's actually Thursday, right before CPI. So we can see price continue to trade higher, and then Thursday CPI does bring price lower. Again, it could also just continue accelerating, but it would just be nice to see if I see come Thursday morning bearish signs. It would line up well with this idea that the 72-hour, the 3-day look ahead is now completed, and we've traded higher inside of this 3 days. And then 3-day look back, there's nothing anymore to reach to 3 days ago. So if I do like a 72-hour look back, we've traded to all the areas that we could have looked to trade to, other than maybe this low. But again, that's not in the question right now. Um, yeah, and that's all for the hourly chart. The 15-minute chart, I really, really liked how the morning session traded. We had a nice accumulation, manipulation during the second quarter of the morning session, and then a distribution and a redistribution in the last quarter. Okay, and that redistribution was my breakpoint model. So I want to look at that one because I wasn't actually trading anymore at this point. I had already taken 2 trades and I had gone off the charts, so I didn't actually get to look at it live, which is unfortunate. But just like yesterday, the breakpoint today happened again, and what I did here is I looked at this range that drew lower into this level and created a low of the day, right? That's important, that the fact that it drew lower and created a low of the day, and then consolidated eventually after a lot of consolidation, a lot of seek and destroy, with the 930 opening range. 10 o'clock started to draw higher, left this fair value gap. Everything else is balanced down here in this range. Everything inside this black range, the down close candles in the like black shaded area, is all balanced. There's a breaker, low high, lower low, breaker up here. Okay, price comes out of the breaker, comes back. You pair with that fair value gap. The first fair value gap inside this dealing range, that's a break point. Deviate the dealing range, 1 deviation. I'm not sure where it would be, but it would probably be around the 25 quadrant level or a bit underneath that. Okay, it's probably where it consolidated a little bit. So then we just continue going higher the rest of the morning into the lunch session. Okay, I'm just checking where. So the trades I took this morning, if I take the 7:30 to 9 o'clock cycle, 90-minute cycle, and I split into 4 quarters, I'm expecting the cycle here after this accumulation, as it consolidates, I was expecting, to be honest, with the way the Q1 opened up, I expected Q1 to continue going higher, similar to yesterday, into the Q2. However, it ended up consolidating, and that kind of told me, like, I started my take profit. I was initially framing a run to these highs here, like 20-30 points, but then because of the consolidation, I said, okay, no, it's obviously not going to go there. Q2 accelerated higher, and I took profit when I could start to tell that Q2 was done moving higher and it was going to draw lower. My stop was at break even. I sold not at this high, at around 10 points when it came back up to 10 points because I could tell it was losing steam. And then I had moved up my stop even more, close to that low here after it made that swing low. And then it drew lower after I sold everything. It was about 10 points. So more consolidation, it accelerates at Q3, it continues to go lower. And you see it even to Q4, continues accelerating lower, and then consolidates to 930 open. This is the second execution, so this is the second quarter of that 9 o'clock cycle. Now I'm expecting the cycle to go higher. So right away when I see that consolidation and the manipulation, right away I'm just kind of thrown off because I would be expecting this to go lower and to have a turtle soup long, right? I would be expecting this to hit the low of this red area and not draw higher like this at 930. So I'm sure this threw off a lot of traders, and it might have been a lot of traders that actually went long in this area and then got stopped out when price drew lower here. This is actually a long entry, turtle soup long. I ended up delivering lower underneath this cycle's relative equal lows right before the 945 distribution cycle higher. So that was pretty nice to see. And then we have another entry right there at the 1007 cycle, which continues to bring price higher. So very, very confusing, but basically within this whole range, from around 930 open to close to the end of the blue cycle, right? Well, to be honest, the 9 o'clock all the way to the last quarter, 1007, that whole hour was just consolidation. So when I saw price manipulate higher, it didn't really add up because I'm expecting this to go higher. 9:30 a.m. is manipulating higher, and because there was relative equal lows here, I wanted to see if price wanted to make an attempt lower. So I initially went short inside when price reached inside this fair value gap. I went short, and then price came back on me. It got stopped out, because I moved my stop down after it consolidated a whole lot. And then I went short again on this order block because I was like fearing initially when I got in here that price would draw higher. So I was allowing price to draw higher. It hit the order block and then it drew lower. The position was about 26 points. Now I didn't hold for just 12 points because it became so fast here. It went lower so fast that I didn't put a take profit, and then I instead sold when it came down to the sell side liquidity because of how fast it was, and I was able to frame these relative equal lows very well. So I accidentally sold an extra one instead of buying one. So I had to put a take profit when it got close to these relative equal lows of 8 micros out of 10, and it actually ended up filling. But then I wanted to take one more off as it moved through the equal lows down here, and it actually ended up selling an extra one. And so now I had 3 micros on, and I just closed everything. That's why you see one execution with 8 micros. You see one I added, and then one I closed immediately, another one that I closed, and then I just closed the last one because it stopped going lower, and I closed the last one in this candle. And then it consolidated and went higher. So, what's particular about this day is if you look at both the executions, I'm not price is making its expansions, easiest runs, highest easiest runs to see where there's the least amount of resistance after I took a trade. So I'm trading the opposing direction before the easy runs. Now that could be because maybe I'm impatient and I want to just get into a trade now. I don't think so. I think I just see an opportunity and then I'm willing to take this one and not necessarily willing to wait for the other. A way to correct this would be don't trade until 8:15. That could be a good idea. Had I gotten on the charts here at 8:15, I would have seen accumulation, manipulation, and rejection of this run higher, forming manipulation. And I could have looked for continued lower prices into Q3. Had I gotten on at 9:45 and refused to trade during 9:30, I could have seen this as a total soup short with this consolidation here, and could have used an order block inside this blue cycle or taken this entry here. But basically, I don't really like to trade. I like to take a break after I take a trade here. I just take a break, and usually I'll only have one trade a day. And yeah, because this was a small 5 micros, just 10 points, I decided to go back and trade this one. And these are all the executions with the numbers. But yeah, so I guess that's all I wanted to show for today, and yeah.